Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We're 4 games into the 2024 season. That's bad news, man. We are a third of the way through this college football season. Tennessee sits at 4-0. They're ranked 5th in the ESPN FPI. They're ranked 5th in the AP polls, and they got an 80% chance, according to that ESPN FPI, of making the college football playoff. You look at the remaining schedule, they got an 80% chance or higher to beat pretty much every team left on that schedule outside of Georgia and Alabama. But you know what they do, right? They keep moving the goalposts. Every time we do something, we beat NC State. Well, NC State's really not that good. We beat Oklahoma. Well, they didn't have a quarterback, and they're really not as good as we thought on the offensive side of the ball. You can go all the way back to the bowl game last year. You guys better be careful. Iowa's defense, really good. You got a freshman in Nico Iamaleava starting that game. Watch out for that Iowa defense. Tennessee goes out, beats them 35-0. Well, they're really not that good. Week in, week out, Nico's breaking records. We're scoring the most points we've ever scored in the modern era. All these things are happening. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. They always move the goalposts. Would they do it after the Oklahoma game? Of course they would. Let's take a listen to what Josh Pate had to say immediately after Tennessee's win over Oklahoma. Let's go take a listen.
I was in Knoxville for a couple of days this spring, sat down with Heupel, and everyone knows them for their offense, but they were so effusive in talking about defense, and it wasn't just lip service. Like, you could clearly tell that was the first thing out of everyone's mouth, his mouth and everyone around the building. And so, Chris, it's not a surprise to them. I think it may be a surprise to the rest of the country. And
I don't think it was a surprise to us as Tennessee fans. Look, maybe we had some questions. You know, we know Josh Heupel, the clip that's flying around everywhere about playing elite defense, and Eric Berry and Reggie White. Like, we get it. But we knew this team was going to be pretty good on defense this year. We knew about the depth on that defensive line. We knew we had some good linebackers in Keenan Peely and Arian Carter. Even the secondary, people want to question the secondary still 4 games into it. All we heard all offseason from this coaching staff is they're faster. They've got more athleticism. They can make plays. That was one of the things I saw with every guy they went and got in the portal when I was looking at numbers, when I was looking at what they do on the field. They make plays. They don't just sit back and make tackles. They make plays on the ball, PBUs, pass breakups. That's a stat that means something to me. So maybe Josh Pate's surprised. Maybe some of the national media is surprised. Are you surprised by the way this defense is playing? I'm not, because I sat here all year last year defending Tim Banks, saying that Tim Banks is one day going to be a head coach and that he is doing something special on Rocky Top. He just needs to continue to build that depth. When Josh Heupel took over, when this coaching staff took over, we were at rock bottom, but guess what? Now Tim Banks has his dudes. And I think some of the national media is surprised by that. But wait. There's always an excuse.
Dennis, I think if we would have said in the preseason, Tennessee, good to great defensively, there would have been skeptics, okay? Now you've done it to NC State, which is a very bad football team, and you've done it to a quarterbackless Oklahoma.
Always an excuse. Always an excuse going into the NC State game. Top 25 matchup, going to be a tough game. Well, you did it against a really bad NC State football team. We talked all week last night, guys. All week. Not last week. We talked all week about how when Tennessee goes into Norman and they take care of business, that everybody in the media is going to move the goalposts and they're going to say, well, Oklahoma's really not that good. And now that's what we're seeing from Josh Pate. Maybe they're not good. Tennessee's number 1 in the country in total defense. They give up 176 yards per game. They're number 5 in the country in scoring defense. They allow 7 points per game. They're 3rd in the country in third down efficiency. Teams are 9 of 53 against this Tennessee defense on third down. Look, we knew James Pierce. He may not be on the stat sheet. He may not be showing up in the numbers. That dude is making plays. That dude is impacting the game week in and week out. Tyree West is a name that keeps floating around that people are surprised by. Are you? I'm not. We saw him flash in the bowl game. He was a guy I was excited to see in this 2024 season. Omar Norman Lott, Joshua Josephs forced a couple of fumbles. Don Bailey, Elijah Simmons. We can go on and on and on, man. Keenan Peely, Arian Carter making plays at linebacker. And that secondary, Jermon McCoy making plays. Are you surprised by that? Go back, watch the film breakdown Coach Jay did on the channel. I don't think Coach Jay's surprised by the way Jermon McCoy's played. Ricky Gibson playing good football. Jacoby Thomas showing people his physicality, his violence. Christian Harrison's coming along, making some plays. Boo Carter's only going to get better. Are you surprised by this Tennessee defense? Now, not everybody in the media is moving the goalposts. Some people have a lot of high praise for this Tennessee football team. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff. Smash the thumbs up just below the video. It's quick, free, easy, and it helps this channel. I would appreciate it. Also, attack the comment section. So many of you guys roll in, you watch the videos, you don't have a comment, you maybe don't have a question, just put a GBO in the comments. That helps this channel. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're not experts or insiders. We're just fans, man. Die-hard, passionate fans just like you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Going to be live tonight at 6:30 playing EA Sports College Football. We got a dynasty going. You can name a player after yourself, or if you're feeling up to it, you can challenge me. Go head-to-head right here on Tuesday nights. Always a good time. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time is Talkin VAWLS live. So let's also jump on in and hang out for that. Cole Kubelik's the man. I love this guy. I was listening to his full breakdown of the Tennessee-Oklahoma game. If you missed it, go back and give it a watch. Really, really good stuff from Cole Kubelik. But this is just a little clip from Twitter. He says, why we loved the Vol football game plan against Oklahoma. Now, this is a hot topic coming off of the post-game show. Everybody's they're happy with the win, but they're not happy about the way it went down. It was too conservative play calling, not going for it on fourth down. Let's listen to what Cole Kubelik said about it.
And you didn't put it in Nico's hands to go on the road for the first time in a tough environment against a tough opponent, against an aggressive defense that was going to move and going to pressure and going to blitz and had talent. You didn't put it in his hands, which was smart as hell. So what'd they do? They said, I know this run game's not going, but we ain't giving up on it. And they didn't. They kept hammering the run. They kept grinding it out. And they showed you, like, all these folks that lose their minds and don't stay with the run, and they bail on the run, and they don't commit to it. Tennessee stayed committed to the run.
Lose their mind, change their game plan. I love what Cole Kubelik just said right there. And, you know, Tennessee stayed committed to the run. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't these big breakaway runs and house calls and, deep shots, but it was gritty. I said yesterday morning when Eric Kane was on the show, really good stream. Monday mornings are great. Go check that out if you missed it. Always a good time having Kaner on the show. But I said yesterday that run game was gritty, right? It was a dogfight. And that's something that Cole Kubelik said in his breakdown. He said, man, that Tennessee offensive line and that Oklahoma defensive line, that was a heavyweight title fight. They went to war. It was physical. It was a fight. And he said maybe Oklahoma had a little bit of an edge, but Tennessee had success in the run game. He had a lot of praise for this Tennessee offensive line. And I know the sacks stand out, right? The sack fumbles. And maybe that's part of the reason why Coach Heupel elected to go conservative. But the bottom line is you go in and you win, right? You win the football game. But overall, just that run game, they were in a dogfight. And look, you got to give credit where credit's due. Oklahoma's defense is good. Coach Rice messaged me last night. He said, Boogie, I'm rewatching the game right now. Larry Johnson played really good football against Oklahoma. So that's something to go back and put your eyes on. Yeah, Dane Davis got beat a couple of times. You hate it for him, man. That kid is a VFL. He gives his all. He gives us a little depth and versatility on the offensive line. He had a bad day. That's okay. That's okay. Go back to work. Get better. We need Dane Davis. We're going to need him moving forward. Hopefully we get Lance Hurd back. Hopefully John Campbell's healthy. Cole Kubelik's high on this Tennessee offensive line, high on the game plan. Didn't put it all on Nico. Guess what? You didn't have to. This may be my favorite clip out of all three clips I'm going to show here today on this video. J.D. Pickell yesterday talked a lot about Josh Heupel's roster, said it was his best roster he's had since being in Knoxville. We heard Josh Heupel confirm that on the postgame. He talked a lot about the front seven. We know that. We got an elite defensive line. We got the best defensive line in the country. Linebackers playing really good, playing physical. Talked about Nico. Will he be better than Peyton? Guess what? He didn't have to be against Oklahoma. Didn't have to do it. Will he be better than Peyton when it's all said and done? I think he's cool, calm, and collected. I think he can make all the throws. I think if you can protect him, keep him upright, I think Nico's going to do special things in Knoxville. Look, we've all seen the clip floating around Josh Heupel postgame, right? Coming back to Norman, says it wasn't about me. Pauses, holds back the tears, says it was not. He said, but thanks for having a little something extra for me. This game meant the world to Josh Heupel. You see the relationship. It's easy to throw around the word culture and family. It's buzzwords when it comes to college football, particularly in recruiting. Let's listen to what J.D. Pickell had to say about the postgame.
You can't fake that. You can't fake that. And there's so much made today in modern college football about NIL and the transfer portal, and it's more transactional than ever. And maybe so. Maybe that's true. I'll tell you one thing, though. You cannot fake what you saw from that team responding to Josh Heupel. Relationships in college football will always, always win. I don't care how much money is being thrown around. I don't care how many portal players are being added or taken away. Like, relationships at the end of the day will always be the differentiating factor when it comes to talented roster versus talented roster. You got to have talent. There's no way around it. But I think players can smell fake from a mile away, regardless of what people want to say right now about NIL and social media and all this, that, and the other, and culture not really mattering anymore. No, that's maybe that reads nice in an article. Maybe it hits nice on a thumbnail, but I'm telling you now, people can spot fake from a mile away. And from what I could tell from Josh Heupel and the way his team responded to him, there was nothing fake about it.
This football team feeds off their head ball coach, man. You know, when I knew, I had confirmation that Josh Heupel was different in that Alabama game in 2022. When Alabama missed the field goal, Josh Heupel didn't celebrate that. He didn't throw his hands up. You see a lot of these coaches, it's like, whoo, sigh of relief. They missed the field goal. Josh Heupel immediately looked at his play sheet. How are we going to go win this football game? That's when I knew that Josh Heupel was built different. He's got that competitive edge, but he's genuine. He's authentic. His players play for him. His players love him. All these recruits that we've had roll through this channel throughout the summer. If you're just finding this channel, we cover recruiting hot and heavy all offseason long. We had David Sanders on the show. We had Jaden Lofton on the show. We've had Braylon Staley on the show, Anthony Aguilar, Shady Hayward. A lot of guys roll through this channel, and they all said the same thing about Coach Heupel. He's real. He's authentic. The interview, having Anthony Aguilar come on with his mom and talk about how Hype made them a priority because of their special needs child that they have. And Hype said, no, you're not leaving them at home. We're family. You're bringing everybody. It's all or none. Bring them all. Like hearing some of the transfers talk about coming in for visits, and they sit down at a table. They didn't even know who Heupel was. They thought he was, just an analyst or some other coach because he sits down with the boys the same as everybody else. Anthony Aguilar also told us, said, man, Coach Hype calls. He's like, what's going on? How was your day? What are you up to? I said, man, is that different? What do other coaches say when they call? Oh, it's all, who have you talked to lately? Have you heard from Tennessee? Have you heard from Georgia? Have you heard from Florida State? It's not about me. It's about who's calling. Where we at? Josh Heupel cares. Josh Heupel's authentic. Josh Heupel's our ball coach, man. I hope he doesn't go anywhere for a long time because I think we got some special years coming up at the University of Tennessee. What are your thoughts? They didn't all move the goalpost. Josh Pate did it again. But I think the national media is starting to take notice. Let's talk about it in the comment section. As always, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. It helps the channel. I would appreciate it. Jump to the comment section. Let's get into it. You can go check out the Talkin VAWLS merch at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link's also in the description below. Thank you to the members of the channel. We couldn't do this without you. Wouldn't be here making this video on a Tuesday morning if it wasn't for the members of the channel. Think about joining. Hit that join button. It's just $1 a month. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, fun perks and benefits, but most importantly, you are just supporting this channel and keeping the lights on. I made the commitment this week. We're going to give away a free shirt every single month to one of the members of the channel. We'll do a Google randomizer, and we'll get a free shirt sent out. We're going to be giving away one tomorrow night, Wednesday night on Talkin VAWLS Live, so tune in for that. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.